Hello, everybody. This is Peter B. I did a video about catcher's gloves, the evolution of catcher's gloves. And now we're going to do the evolution of catcher's mask, as well as the goalie mask. So, here's what the early masks look like. This is an Allen and Ginter from Topps, 2018. A little description about the mask. First mask was invented by a student at Harvard, Fred Thayer, in 1876. And that's the kind of mask he invented. Thayer adapted a fencing mask for Alexander Tinney, who was on the Harvard baseball team. It was nicknamed the Rat Trap. In Tinney's first game with it on April 12th, 1817, he only made 2 errors, which was actually low in those early days. Adaptations to the mask include added padding to the forehead and chin rest, which made the mask very popular in both amateur and pro baseball. So like I said, that's what it looked like. And here's more what it actually looked like. The one on the left, 1876. Inventor George Barnard patented his open view mask that gave both protection and vision. And that is the one on the right. See, just a straight bar going down on the first one. Now there's a little opening. The bar still goes down, but it's more opening for the catcher's eyes. And here's some T206s showing the mask back in the 1910 era. Here is Red Kleino of the Boston Red Sox. And the back of the card. Here's Mike Powers of the Philadelphia Phillies. And that's a nice shot of the mask, what it looked like in 1910. And that's the back. And Fred Snodgrass of the New York Giants with that old pillow-like glove and the old style mask, waiting to catch the ball two-handed. And that's the back of it. This was an old mill. And one more. You got a T207 Jack Lapp, also of the Philadelphia Athletics. Once again, showing the old style glove, chest protector, and the mask. And this is from a Recruit little cigar package. The platform mask is a one-piece aluminum casting with horizontal crossbars instead of the soldered mesh. This was patented by umpire James E. Johnstone in 1921. And the difference, the mesh had just wires going up and across. Here is that mask, the platform mask. That top piece was just cast. A lot of cushion, a little protection for the chin. The platform mask. The mesh mask still evolved, however, because of their springy, shock-absorbing action when a ball deflected off it. The platform mask, the one I just showed, the ball just kind of deaded and vibrated the whole face. So they kept the wire mesh type mask. And they used that for many, many years. Here is a 1952 Bowman Eddie Fitzgerald showing the mask with the mesh wires going up and down and vertically. A nice pattern for the face. And here's the back. He was catcher for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Catchers still wore this type of mask, and carbon steel wire is used today because it is flexible and strong. With the invention of the hinged glove, which was spoken about in my previous video, catchers can now catch one-handed in a crouch position. But this means the catcher can now raise his head, leaving his throat exposed. In 1976, catcher Steve Yeager was on deck when the batter's bat shattered and a shard hit him in the throat. To protect him from further injury, the Dodgers came up with a device hanging from the mask to protect his throat. And this is a 2004 Panini Historic Signatures, Steve Garvey signatures. And you can see the little thing hanging. It's tied on, so it moves back and forth. So the balls hit it, it would go towards his throat, but it would take the brunt of the ball, not his throat. And here's the back of that historic signature card from Panini. And here's a shot from a game. And you can see that little device, that little throat protector. This is a Dunross 1983. And the back of that card. At the end of the 20th century, Charlie O'Brien introduced something similar to a hockey goalie's mask. And here's Charlie on the Mask Marauders card from Upper Deck. And you see it's similar to what a goalie has. And that's the back of it. And I got another Charlie O'Brien showing a different angle of the mask. And once again, just like the hockey goalies, they can personalize the mask with logos or designs. Charlie has the Toronto Blue Jays logo on his Upper Deck card. And that's the back of the card. This polycarbon helmet protects top, sides, and back of the head. The cage-like front is bigger and increases catcher's peripheral vision and deflects the ball better. It is, however, about 10 ounces heavier with the mask helmet combination. So that's the evolution of catcher's mask. Also in the early days of baseball, around 1910, shin guards were first used. And here is Roger Brashanahan, first player to down the shin guards. And this is a 2001 TriStar card. Opening day 1907. The New York Giants catcher Roger Brashanahan took the field wearing a thickly upholstered shin guard. He looked more like a hockey goalie than a catcher at that time. The fans laughed and heckled Brashanahan. But in the fifth inning, a foul tip hit the protective sharply, and the fans howled with delight over this new piece of equipment. It became a standard equipment for all catchers. And here's Roger in a T205 from 1911. And that's the back of it with some tobacco staining and a little dirt, but hey, it's a T205. I still love it. So that's the baseball side of this video. Let's get into hockey. In 1927, Elizabeth Graham was a goalie for the Queen's University. She wanted to guard her teeth, so she wore a fencing mask in net, and thus became the first goalie to wear a mask. In professional hockey, the hockey mask was actually not allowed by the coaches, for they felt that it hindered your eyesight and thus allowing more goals. Clint Benedict in 1930 of the Montreal Maroons took a shot in the face and broke his nose. He next played with a leather half mask to protect it. And after just a few games, he tossed it and never wore it again. So this is a T208 Leaf called Masked Men. And that's the leather mask. It was mostly just a nose protection, or help blunt the shock of a hockey puck hitting you in the face and the nose. And here's the back. First professional goalie to wear a mask-like device. First player to wear a mask that covered the whole face was Japan's Teiji Honma in the 1936 Winter Olympics. But the NHL still did not have masks. And here is a 1954 Parkhurst card showing Jacques Plante of the Montreal Canadiens, and you can clearly see there is no mask on his head. And here is the back of the card, both in English and French. In 1959, Montreal Canadiens Jacques Plante took a shot to the face in the first period that required stitches. He had been using a custom-made fiberglass mask in practice to protect his face, but the coach wouldn't let him wear it during the games. But between periods, after they stitched him up, he refused to return without the mask. Thus, his coach had to give in and let him go out on the ice wearing it. Thus, he became the first NHL goalie to wear a full mask. And this is it right here. his jocks with his full Jason-like fiberglass. Not Jason. Is it Friday the 13th Jason? I think it is. Mask. And this is from the NHL Pro Set from 1991. Jacques Plante, who's in the Hall of Fame. He was teased by the fans as well as the players for wearing a mask. But since he put it on, the team went on an 18-game winning streak. And the mask was accepted, and many goalies donned the mask after that. In 2012, Cheevers, sorry about the 2012, Cheevers asked his trainer to put stitches on his mask whenever a puck hit it. And this is a 2012 mask man, Jerry Cheevers. And you can see he's been hitting the mask many times. He was the first one to decorate his mask. And there's the back of it. Jerry Cheevers. Goalies started to personalize their mask. And here's one from the 70s. Bernie Parent. Another Masked Man card. In the 70s, the mask kind of curved around the head a bit. Kind of looked like a bird. Or maybe a lizard. Goalies started to experiment with players' helmets with a full cage attached in the front. Today, the modern mask is based on that and has a wired cage affixed to a composite shell, typically made of fiberglass, carbon fiber, or Kevlar. Goalies are free to personalize it, and there are many nice paint jobs. And here's an example, once again from the Masked Man. Here is Gary Bromley with a skeleton type face on his mask. And here is Curtis Joseph. He has a Cujo mask. Can't really see it, but the top of the mask is Cujo's head, and the bottom of the mask is his teeth. So it looks like Curtis is staring out through his mouth. And Tim Thomas, Boston Bruins. He has a nice, scary Bruin on his mask. And that's what they look like today. Covers the whole head with that bird-like cage in front. Well, I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned something. And thank you very much.